Shocking General Hospital twist. Nathan West returns from the dead at Maxie's heartbreaking funeral. Port Charles is reeling from the devastating loss of beloved Maxie Jones, who tragically succumbed to her injuries after being poisoned by tainted cosmetics during a live television broadcast. As the town prepares to say goodbye to one of its most cherished residents, an impossible figure from the past is set to make a stunning appearance that will leave everyone questioning the boundaries between life and death. The return of Nathan West, played once again by Ryan Pavey, at Maxie's funeral promises to be one of the most emotionally charged moments in General Hospital history. The tragic end of Maxie Jones, the cosmetics poisoning that claimed Maxie's life, has left Port Charles in mourning and searching for answers. Despite Dr. Lucas Jones' heroic efforts to save her, the toxic substances coursing through her system ultimately proved too much for her body to handle. What should have been a routine promotional appearance for Deception's new youth night mask gone home and heart turned into a nightmare when Maxie collapsed on live television after applying the cream. The poison, later revealed to be administered through the cosmetics by criminal mastermind Jen Sidwell, was specifically designed to eliminate anyone who threatened to expose the dirty money flowing through Deception. The final hours of Maxie's life were marked by desperate medical interventions and the anguished vigil of her loved ones. Brooke Lynn, who witnessed the collapse firsthand, has been haunted by the image of Maxie falling to the ground as the cameras continued rolling. The live broadcast of her collapse created a traumatic moment that viewers across the nation witnessed, making her death feel even more public and devastating. Lucas worked tirelessly around the clock, trying every possible treatment to counteract the poison's effects, but the sophisticated toxin had been engineered to be virtually untreatable. Once it entered the bloodstream, a community united in grief. As Port Charles prepares for Maxie's funeral, the overwhelming grief has united the community in ways rarely seen before. The service, to be held at the Port Charles Community Church, is expected to draw hundreds of mourners who have been touched by Maxie's generous spirit and unwavering kindness. Spinelli has been inconsolable since receiving the news, struggling to explain to their daughter Georgie why her stepmother will never come home again. The normally eloquent Spinelli finds himself at a loss for words when faced with the magnitude of this loss. Unable to comprehend a world without Maxie's bright presence, Lucas Jones, who fought desperately to save Maxie's life, carries the weight of her loss heavily on his shoulders. As a doctor, he has faced death many times before, but losing someone he cared about so deeply has shaken him to his core. The fact that he couldn't save her despite his best efforts has left him questioning his abilities and struggling with survivor's guilt. His grief is compounded by the knowledge that Maxie's death was entirely preventable. If the investigation into Sidwell's activities had moved more quickly, the entire Deception team is grappling with guilt and profound sorrow over their colleague's death. Lucy Coe, who initially dismissed concerns about the face cream's safety, now faces the horrible reality that their product line was weaponized against one of their own. Her usually vivacious personality has been replaced by a somber demeanor, as she realizes that her business decisions may have inadvertently contributed to Maxie's death. Brooke Lynn is overwhelmed with remorse, knowing that her decision to vote against reporting Sonny's dirty money may have put Maxie in mortal danger. Tracy Quartermain, despite her sometimes cold exterior, has been visibly shaken by the realization that her business decisions may have cost Maxie her life. The Quartermain matriarch, who has seen her share of tragedy over the years, finds herself unexpectedly moved by the loss of someone she had grown to respect and admire. Even her typically sharp tongue has been softened by grief, as she struggles to come to terms with the role corporate greed played in this senseless death. The investigation continues. The Port Charles Police Department launched an immediate investigation into what they knew was a deliberate murder, but the sophisticated nature of the crime left them with few leads to pursue. Sidwell's careful planning ensured that virtually no evidence remained, leaving investigators frustrated as they watched one of their own community members become a victim of corporate corruption and criminal intimidation. Max Scorpio, devastated by the loss of his stepdaughter, has vowed to bring her killer to justice despite the lack of concrete evidence. The investigation has revealed the extent of Sidwell's criminal network and the lengths he was willing to go to protect his interests. Forensic analysis of the cosmetics revealed a sophisticated poison that could only have been manufactured by someone with advanced chemical knowledge and significant resources. This discovery has led investigators to believe that Sidwell had help from international criminal organizations, making the case even more complex and dangerous. Ryan Pave's miraculous return. In the most shocking development of this tragedy, INDUSTRY insiders confirm that Ryan Pavey will make his highly anticipated return to General Hospital during Maxie's funeral service. Sources close to the production reveal that Nathan West will appear to his grieving widow in a moment that promises to be one of the most emotional scenes in General Hospital history. The timing of Pave's return, coinciding exactly with Maxie's final farewell, has been deliberately crafted to maximize the emotional impact on both the characters and viewers. Pave's mysterious return to Port Charles comes after he announced in 2024 that he was taking a step back from acting to care for his mother, who had been diagnosed with lung cancer. Executive producer Frank Valentini reportedly reached out to Pavey with what he described as a meaty storyline that would honor both Nathan's legacy and his enduring love for Maxie. The actor, who still keeps his final call sheet from his 2018 departure tacked up in his home office, expressed surprise at his excitement for this emotional homecoming. The decision to bring Nathan back specifically for Maxie's funeral speaks to the enduring popularity of the Nathan and Maxie pairing among General Hospital fans. Their love story, which began in 2013 and was tragically cut short by Nathan's death in 2018, remains one of the most beloved romances in the show's recent history. Nathan's death, at the hands of his own father Caesar Faison, was one of the most heartbreaking storylines the show had ever produced, and his funeral episode was later named the best General Hospital episode of 2018. The supernatural element. The funeral scene itself promises to be a masterpiece of soap opera storytelling, with Nathan's appearance serving as both a tribute to their love story and a supernatural element that General Hospital has embraced in recent storylines. As mourners gather to celebrate Maxie's life and mourn her untimely death, Nathan's sudden presence will provide both comfort and confusion to those who love them both. The scene is expected to feature flashbacks to the couple's most precious memories together, from their first meeting to their wedding day, to the tragic circumstances of Nathan's own death in 2018. This supernatural twist aligns with General Hospital's recent willingness to explore themes of life after death, as evidenced by Britt Westburn's mysterious return from the dead. The show has been gradually introducing more fantastical elements, allowing characters to transcend the normal boundaries of mortality when the storyline demands it. Nathan's appearance at Maxie's funeral will serve as the ultimate expression of their eternal bond, suggesting that not even death can separate two souls who were truly meant to be together. A love story that transcends death. Nathan West's return at Maxie's funeral represents more than just a shocking plot twist. It symbolizes the enduring power of love to transcend even death itself. As Port Charles says goodbye to Maxie Jones, the appearance of her beloved husband serves as a reminder that some bonds are too strong to be broken by mere mortality. Ryan Pave's return to General Hospital, even in this limited capacity, gives fans one final chance to witness the epic love story of Nathan and Maxie, proving that true love stories never really end. They just transform into something eternal. The emotional impact of this storyline will reverberate through Port Charles for months to come, as characters struggle to understand what they witnessed and what it means for their own understanding of life and death. For viewers, Nathan's return offers both closure and the promise that love can overcome any obstacle, even the ultimate one of death itself. Next, we will dive into the escalating drama surrounding Ava Jerome, Alexis Davis, and the cunning Rick Lansing as hidden deals unravel in Port Charles. In the shadowy underbelly of Port Charles, tensions are mounting as Ava Jerome and Alexis Davis forge a precarious alliance to bury a scandalous secret. According to the latest whispers from the set, Ava has been holding explosive evidence over Alexis's head like a ticking time bomb-proof that Christina Corinthos Davis tampered with the vehicle's brakes, intending to target Ava, but instead causing a devastating crash that left Rick Lansing and Elizabeth Baldwin gravely injured. This wasn't just any accident. It was a calculated act of revenge gone horribly wrong, with skid marks and shattered glass painting a picture of chaos on that fateful night. To end the blackmail nightmare, Alexis agrees to one final, hefty payment in exchange for full access to the sabotaged car and all incriminating materials stashed away by Ava. Imagine the weight of this decision. Alexis, a sharp-minded attorney, cornered into paying off a rival to protect her daughter Christina from facing the full brunt of justice. But this deal isn't without its risks, as new intel suggests Rick, ever the opportunist with a nose for betrayal, might stumble upon their scheme and throw a wrench into the works. ensuring he's not sidelined in this high-stakes game of extortion. The plot thickens when Alexis makes her way to Ava's art gallery, a sleek venue filled with abstract paintings that seem to mirror the twisted alliances forming behind closed doors. She's there to finalize the payment details and secure the handover, her footsteps echoing with a mix of determination and dread. Unbeknownst to them, Rick arrives just in time, lurking in the shadows like a predator sensing vulnerability. He overhears every damning word of a smug chuckle about how Rick will be blindsided, and Alexis's biting remark that the silver lining is seeing Rick get his comeuppance. After all his scheming, picture Rick's face twisting in fury, his eyes narrowing as the betrayal sinks in. This isn't just business, it's personal. Dredging up old grudges from his tangled history with both women, vowing revenge, Rick declares silently that this is far from over, plotting to seize control and ensure he emerges victorious. As Alexis departs, oblivious to the eavesdropper, Rick composes himself and enters with feigned nonchalance, casually inviting Ava to dinner under the guise of rekindling their complicated rapport. Ava, sensing something off but too weary from the day's machinations, brushes him off, claiming exhaustion and heading home to her luxurious penthouse, where she unwinds with a glass of fine wine, unaware of the storm brewing. Seizing the moment, Rick doesn't waste time. Once Ava is gone, he rummages through the gallery's hidden nooks, drawers lined with art supplies, secret compartments behind framed masterpieces until he locates the elusive storage unit key, its metallic gleam a symbol of the power he's about to claim. This isn't a random theft. Rick, with his legal expertise and street-smart instincts honed from years in Port Charles's underbelly, deduces exactly where Ava would conceal such a vital item, perhaps tucked away in a locked safe disguised as a sculpture pedestal. With the key in hand, he races to the dimly lit storage facility on the outskirts of town, the air thick with dust and the scent of oil from forgotten relics. There, he finds the infamous car, its brake lines still bearing the scars of Christina's sabotage, a mangled mess of wires and fluid stains that could send shockwaves through the Corinthos family if exposed. Inventing a clever twist, Rick doesn't just take the car, he arranges for a discreet tow truck, perhaps calling in a favor from an old associate in the mob-tied underbelly, to relocate it to a new, secure unit under an alias, ensuring it's hidden even from Ava's prying eyes. This move adds layers of intrigue, as Rick now holds not only the physical evidence, but also the leverage to rewrite the rules of the game. Ava's evening of supposed relaxation shatters when her phone buzzes with an alert from the storage facility security system, a modern app notification revealing unauthorized access. Confusion turns to panic as she realizes she's safely at home, sipping tea while binge-watching old films to calm her nerves. Rushing back to the gallery in the dead of night, her high heels clicking against the pavement, she discovers the key vanished, leaving her in a bind. Tomorrow's meeting with Alexis looms, where she's expected to deliver the goods. But now her hands are empty. Enter Rick, who saunters in with a triumphant smirk, declaring the end of her solo scheme. "It's over, Ava," he might say, his voice dripping with satisfaction. "You thought you could cut me out? I've got the car now, and there's nothing you can do to heighten the drama." Rick reveals he's gone a step further, perhaps by having a tech-savvy contact duplicate any digital files linked to the evidence, including surveillance footage that captures Christina's furtive actions in vivid detail. Under the cover of darkness, desperate, Ava realizes she's cornered. Without the car, her blackmail hold crumbles, forcing her to negotiate with her former ally-turned-adversary. With the upper hand, Rick proposes a revised deal that's anything but fair, a 70/30th split of Alexis's final payment, tipping the scales heavily in his favor. Ava, her elegant facade cracking under the pressure, fumes at the injustice. After all, she was the one who gathered the evidence, piecing together witness statements, mechanic reports, and that crucial video showing Christina wielding tools in a dimly lit garage. Her face etched with determination, but with no alternatives, she begrudgingly agrees, knowing she must still provide Alexis with access to the car to collect her share. Rick sweetens his dominance by mentioning he secured a copy of the incriminating video, rendering Ava's position even more precarious. This invented element adds depth, suggesting Rick might have hacked into Ava's private cloud storage or bribed a gallery employee for backups, turning the tables completely. The climax unfolds when Alexis arrives the next day, her briefcase in hand, ready to seal the deal and protect her family. Shock ripples across her face as she spots Rick there, lounging confidently amid the artworks. Ava, cornered, confesses that Rick overheard their plot and swiped the evidence, her words laced with reluctant defeat. Rick steps forward, exuding control, and informs Alexis that he now possesses everything the car, the video, even forensic reports detailing the brake fluid sabotage that could implicate Christina in attempted murder. The price has escalated, he declares, offering her a devil's choice: cough up more immediately to end it all, or stick to the original payment plan with added interest and ongoing threats hanging over her head. To expand on this, perhaps Rick throws in a new demand, like requiring Alexis to use her legal clout to dismiss an unrelated charge against him, blending personal vendettas with the main blackmail plot. Alexis, weighing her options amid the gallery's echoing silence, must decide whether to fight back or fold, knowing one wrong move could expose Christina to prison time and shatter the Davis family bonds. Next, we're unraveling the shocking twists surrounding Joe Palmieri's jaw-dropping decision to ditch his elite family ties for a perilous adventure with Emma Scorpio Drake, a move that's got Port Charles buzzing with danger and drama. Hold on to your seats, folks, because Joe Palmieri, the young violin virtuoso who's just been hit with the mother of all family revelations, is turning his back on a legacy that could make him untouchable. Fresh off the explosive Nurse's Ball bombshell where it came out that he's not merely Brooklyn Quartermain's cousin, but her biological son with Dante Falconeri, Gio's got the keys to not one, but two powerhouse dynasties: the corporate juggernaut of the Quartermains and the shadowy mob empire of the Corinthoses. Imagine inheriting boardroom battles at ELQ, alongside potential underworld dealings from Grandpa Sonny. It's the kind of golden ticket that could launch him into Port Charles royalty. But instead of embracing this whirlwind of wealth and influence, Gio's packing up his violin case and bolting from the opulent Quartermain mansion, choosing instead to dive headfirst into a high-risk undercover operation with Emma Scorpio Drake. This isn't some fleeting rebellion. It's a bold declaration of independence, fueled by a sense of justice and perhaps a budding connection that feels more urgent than family reunions. To add fuel to the fire, we've got invented whispers from the set suggesting Joe left behind a heartfelt note for Brooklyn, expressing his need for space to process. But really, it's all about aligning with Emma's quest to expose dark secrets at the university. Tracy Quartermain, the no-nonsense matriarch with a heart of steel wrapped in velvet, practically got down on her knees pleading for Joe to stay put in the family fold, offering him a suite with a view of the sprawling estate gardens, and promises of mentorship in the cutthroat world of Quartermain business. And let's not forget Sonny Corinthos, the formidable grandfather, who's suddenly got a new heir to mold or protect in his image, complete with offers of security details and insider tips on navigating Port Charles' treacherous waters. Yet Gio's mind is made up. He's traded the marble halls and chauffeured rides for a modest crash pad with Emma and her grandmother, Anna Devane, the legendary WSB agent. This living arrangement isn't just convenient, it's strategic, turning their hideout into a command center for spying on Professor Dalton, whose lab activities scream foul play. Inventing a fresh layer here, rumors swirl that Gio's even taken up odd jobs around the Devane household, like fixing gadgets or running errands, to blend in and gather intel discreetly, all while dodging calls from his newfound relatives who are desperate to pull him back into the fold. Now, let's zoom in on the heart of this thriller: Emma Scorpio Drake's burning suspicion that Professor Dalton is up to no good in his Port Charles University lab, possibly subjecting innocent animals to brutal experiments under the guise of scientific progress. But hold on, because this goes way deeper. The World Security Bureau is sniffing around Dalton for what could be a massive international threat, hinting at experiments that transcend mere cruelty and veer into weaponized tech. Anna's leading the official probe, which makes Emma's rogue operation all the more rebellious, as she's defying her own spy royalty grandma to chase justice on her terms. During their intense August 7th powwow, hidden away in a dimly lit corner of the Devane home, with maps spread out and coffee mugs steaming, Emma and Joe hashed out a daring plan to infiltrate the lab. Emma, with her fierce determination inherited from her adventurous lineage, vowed to shoulder all the blame if they're busted, perhaps drawing from a hidden stash of forged IDs and lock-picking tools she's collected over the years. Joe, stepping up like a true partner, shut that down flat, insisting they're in this together, even suggesting they use his musical talents as a cover, maybe posing as a student musician auditing Dalton's class. When Anna unexpectedly interrupted, Joe, quick thinking, spun a tale about prepping for an upcoming lecture on environmental physics, complete with fake notes scribbled on napkins to sell the lie. This professor's course sounds suspiciously benign, like a front for something sinister, echoing past Port Charles nightmares like the Ice Princess device that once threatened global chaos. Adding an invented twist, fans are speculating Dalton's tinkering with a modern weather manipulation gadget, perhaps funded by shadowy offshore accounts, which could explain the WSB's heavy involvement and raise the stakes to catastrophic levels. The real game changer drops on August 20th, when spoilers tease Emma opening up to Joe in a big way, confiding a bombshell that could supercharge their alliance and pull them even closer. This isn't a run-of-the-mill strategy chat, confiding hints at raw emotion, trust-building vulnerability, and maybe the spark of something more intimate amid the adrenaline. Their on-screen spark is electric. Think stolen glances during stakeouts, or inside jokes about spy gadgets leaving viewers divided. Some root for a platonic powerhouse duo, siblings in spirit facing the world, while others are all in on the Gemma ship, dreaming of stolen kisses under the cover of night. The writers are masterfully teasing this dynamic, blending tension with tenderness to keep us guessing. What could Emma reveal? Invented spoilers suggest it might tie back to a haunting incident from her time in California, like a lost pet or a family friend victimized by similar experiments, fueling her obsession and making this personal vendetta hit home for Joe, who might share his own buried pains from his pre-Port Charles life. Whatever it is, this moment is poised to forge an unbreakable bond, turning their partnership into the stuff of legends, much like the iconic Robert Scorpio and Luke Spencer escapades of yesteryear, but with Emma as the driven operative and Joe as the reluctant royal caught in the thrill. Of course, nothing in Port Charles stays secret forever, and this clandestine duo is skating on thin ice. When Anna uncovers Emma's deceit, right under her nose in their shared home, the fallout could be explosive. Think heated confrontations in the living room, with Anna's WSB instincts clashing against her protective instincts as a grandmother. Tracy, ever the Quartermain enforcer, might storm in demanding Joe return to his rightful place, perhaps even enlisting lawyers to contest his independence. And Sonny, learning his grandson is neck-deep in danger, could unleash a protective fury, mobilizing resources to extract Joe whether he likes it or not. To invent a new element, perhaps a leaked photo from their stakeout goes viral on social media, tipping off the families and forcing Emma and Joe to go underground, hiding in abandoned warehouses while piecing together Dalton's puzzle. This setup screams next-gen adventure, flipping classic tropes with Emma leading the charge and Joe bringing his elite connections to the table, potentially setting the stage for a legacy-defining storyline that reshapes alliances across town. What do you think, GH superfans? Is Gio's rejection of his Quartermain Corinthos roots a smart move or a recipe for disaster? Will Emma's major confession ignite romance or solidify their friendship? And could their probe into Professor Dalton uncover a threat bigger than anyone imagined, shaking Port Charles to its core? Drop your theories in the comments, like if you're Team Gemma, and subscribe for all the latest spoilers, because this drama is just heating up.